Hey art clubbers, it's Miss Kelly Sue. I'm going to show you how to paint a gnome with 4 colors. Let's get started. Okay. So this is my inspiration piece. Pretty cute, but I thought if I teach you how to do this, you could paint a bunch of paintings. It doesn't matter what color you pick. I picked red for the hat. And just to keep it simple and under 4 colors, I picked red for the stockings too. But you can do any color you want. So we're going to start in about the middle of our paper. And I took just my mixed media paper and I cut it in half. I thought later I might want to draw a blue one. So find where center is, and underneath center, you're going to draw yourself a little nose. It's kind of a squished circle. Now we're gonna borrow the top of that line. So I'm gonna come out almost like it's a little girl with really weird hair, if that makes sense. And I'm going to, and I'm going to extend and make a big curve and come back. And I want this side a little shorter because the, what are you gonna call this? The long hanging downy thing covers that up. If you had a pencil, you can erase this because I like to show you what I'm doing. I'm using a Sharpie. So our goal is to go all the way to the top, but I do have this couple dips here. So my goal is to go to the top, so you can put a mark if you want to. So I'm gonna come up and just do kind of like a dip, another dip, come to the top, and I'm swinging down low. I don't have a lot of room, but that's okay. And I'm gonna borrow this line here. I'm gonna make a big, long triangle. So let's go ahead and put a little puff ball on the end. And the body is mostly hair, but I need a placeholder, and a placeholder is just, we're not marking off that area to say, hey, I'm gonna do something with that. And so we're gonna use the shape of a U. So he kind of looks like he's got a big pot belly for a little while. So I'm gonna start on the inside of my hat, not the edges, or he'll be like ginormously chubby. Inside of my hat, I'm gonna make a little mark there, and I'm just gonna make a great big fat U. And I saved room for legs. Not a lot, but I'm gonna come down with 2 straight lines, and I'm gonna stop about an inch from the bottom. And then I'm gonna put a C on the top, 2 straight lines, and then I'm gonna use a U, an upside down U, to be the bottom of his shoe. Super duper cute. All right, so we're back. I have a little tub of water. I have a round paintbrush and a detail brush. I'm gonna use my tiny detail brush. And as promised, I'm going to use 4 colors. I'm gonna use red, cinnamon, black, just a little black, and of course it's white, so we're gonna use quite a bit of white. Ooh. And we're just gonna move around so we don't have to blow dry a lot. So hold on, I feel like this one might be too big for his nose. So I know I have another one right here. Okay, here we go. So I could just use red on his hat, but red with the white showing through makes it a little bit pink. So I'm gonna darken up the red with just a little bit of brown. Now you can give your painting as many coats as you want. So I'm just staying inside. Put in. I want my paint wet, So if you're painting on canvas, I would give it 2 coats, definitely 2 coats. And I would definitely make sure the second coat's wet so we can do this step. So we want to make it kind of wrinkly. So I'm gonna just bring my little paintbrush in with black. Remember, I want to make it wrinkly. And did you know that you cannot blend colors unless they're both wet? So while it's wet, I'm just going to take my finger and blend. Pretty simple. And I see that I got a wrinkle here. So while my red's wet, I'm gonna blend. And I put a little bit more up here. My red's starting to dry, so I don't want to add too much. So also, if you feel like you put too much on, just come in with some more black. Oh, nope, sorry, some more red. And just kind of blend it in. But you couldn't do that if your paints were dry. Go ahead and clean all that red out of your paintbrush. Or actually, let's go ahead and paint our leg. Sorry about that. Got a little distracted with the dogs. Now let's clean our paintbrush. Get all that red out of there, because otherwise it'll look like a shark attack in his beard, guys. We don't want that. So I want to add a little black to my white to make a nice base coat of gray for his beard. So we are going to let this dry and then come back and do the streaks. All right, I had too much in there. I'm also going to go ahead and use that same color on his fluffy area here and his ball. Now, if your red is still wet, you need to go to the blow dryer. I'm painting on paper, so that's not what's happening. But I knew if I was painting on canvas, it would totally be wet still. Ta-da! And I just want to paint the bottom of the shoes, the U. Try not to get anything on that painting there underneath. And grab my small paintbrush and paint the sides. Not the top. The top's going to be gray, and I'm going to put in white later. So I think, I'm trying to think if I can get in there. I cannot. My paintbrush is just too big. So let me power down and paint my C. Doing it gray. Now you're gonna definitely want to go to the blow dryer. My work's already dry. That's the beauty of painting on canvas. And I'm gonna make a skin color. So I have a reddish brown called Burnt Sienna. I just need a dab and a whole bunch of white. Maybe 2 things of white. And think about what color skin you have in your family. And I would just go ahead and paint the gnome that color, unless you want to get super creative. And so my skin is white with a lot of orange tones. That's what I put in there. Let me close the door. We got our Barker dog home today. She barks a lot. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start on the beard. So I have a bigger paintbrush and I have white. And I'm just gonna do 101 squiggly lines in the beard with white. So that's our wet part. I'm gonna try to go all the way up to the nose and the hat. And I definitely wanna cover up that belly area. So I'm gonna go past the belly area just a little bit. If you need to pause to catch up, go ahead. Then I'm going to, while that's wet, you can take in some black and just do some brush strokes also. Or you can take in some gray. And it's just gonna blend with the white and make it all textury and super hairy. Ta-da. All that's left is to clean my brush really well, dip in the white, like dip pretty generously, come into the hat, and I'm just going to do 4 or 5 bounces in the center. You can cover the whole thing if you want, but this is what I did for the painting I showed you. Just kind of come in the center, do my ball, that dog, and do the top of my shoes. Definitely they show up better when the background is painted. And then finally, where's my tiny, tiny, tiny one? Do I put it in a water bucket? It's so tiny, there it goes. It's so tiny, it rolls away all the time. So I'm gonna take my tiny paintbrush and my white, and at the bottom, I'm just gonna paint it upside down. Okay, I'm gonna paint a frown, sorry. No upside downs. This is what it looks like when it dries. And while I have my white, I like to go around the hat, skipping a little bit. And what I like to do is then flip my paintbrush upside down and dip and do a couple dots in those skipped areas. Just a couple. Doesn't have to be a whole bunch. Ta-da! And I want to put a frown at the top of my nose in white. Or here. Or you can do that cinnamon brown, just so it stands out a little bit. So now your job is to create these as many times as you want, any different color you want. You can do green, you can do blue, you can do teal, just any holiday color that you want. Or if you don't believe in the holidays, just any old gnome color that you want. So this was our inspiration. Hold on. This was our inspiration. And this was our gnome. Super cute. I really like him long, and you could stripe his feet if you want. So I'll hope to do another tutorial next week, so you have one more to do before break. Have a good day. Bye, guys.